All right, welcome to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Tonight is a special presentation. I would like to share with you a video from the Weather Channel and talking about Hurricane Ida. And tonight we're going to discuss what these major outlets are doing when it comes to supporting and accurate facts and why. But first, let's get into the evidence. First, a 1 and 5 second video from the Weather Channel and its explanation of what happened with Hurricane Ida. Let's watch.
Hurricane Ida was undoubtedly fueled by climate change. Now, that's not to say that climate change caused the storm, but rather it is almost certain that a warming world made Hurricane Ida more powerful. Here's what we know. The oceans are warming as a result of human-caused climate change. The Gulf of Mexico was blazing with above-average temperatures along the path of Ida.
Blazing.
This hot water is like throwing fuel on the fire. It helps a hurricane like Ida grow stronger, faster, and produce more rain. The rapid intensification of Hurricane Ida is something we have seen far too often in Gulf storms in recent years. Hurricanes Harvey, Michael, and Laura all rapidly intensified and made landfall as a Category 4 or 5 storm in the last 4 years. It is not a coincidence. Climate change is undoubtedly making these storms worse.
Well, even though...
All right, so notice at the beginning that she notes that man-made climate change is responsible for the strengthening of this storm. And then at the very end of this, she claims once again that climate change is responsible for this storm. I take issue with the video on several fronts. Okay. First of all, she said that we had blazing hot record temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico when Ida made landfall. Now, the temperatures along the coast of Louisiana where the landfall happened were between 85 and 87 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the average temperature in the Gulf for the month of August? Oh, it's 85 to 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Interesting enough. But yet the Weather Channel claimed in this video record-breaking above average Gulf waters caused by human activity, climate change, is what made this storm stronger. Her words. I'm not exaggerating anything. This is exactly her quote. That the hot water was the fuel for the storm. That is correct. These hurricanes do intensify when they are over warmer waters. The rest of the Gulf of Mexico, folks, by the way, from Cuba all the way to the coast of Louisiana, this storm was treading waters in the 82 degree range, 83 degrees. Temperatures didn't really start to warm up until I got about 30, 40 miles outside off the coast of Louisiana. And that's where we saw the rapid intensification. But was there other factors as well that caused the strengthening of suddenly of these hurricanes that she's mentioning? By the way, she throws Michael, Laura, Harvey, and Ida as products of man-made climate change because of the rapid intensification, and that it's no coincidence that climate change is responsible for these 4 storms. So I thought to myself, this is very interesting. We picked 4 storms that had rapid intensification during the last 4 years during a solar minimum, a period of lower activity. And when sprinkled in with activity from time to time, it tends to create havoc on the climate, the jet stream, all that. So I did a little digging here, and I want to compare. First of all, I want to tell you that also NPR, record heat in the Gulf fueled Hurricane Harvey's deluge. Okay? The coast is 86 degrees. It says that's several degrees higher than normal. And it's the heat that drives the storms. Folks, I'm telling you right now, they're lying to you. The temperature off of the coast in August for Texas is between 85 and 87 degrees. Google it if you don't believe me. 85 to 87 degrees is the average temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. And Hurricane Harvey had temperatures at 86 degrees. Hurricane Michael was claimed that it was record-breaking heat. Michael had Gulf temperature of 84 to 86 degrees. There was a little bit of variance there. Okay? And of course, Hurricane Ida, which started in waters near Cuba around 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and by the time it made landfall in Louisiana, was at 86 degrees. Now, Michael was in October. Laura, Harvey, and Ida were in August. The average temperature for ocean temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico in October range a little bit more. 77 degrees to 84 degrees is average in October. So with that being said, the temperatures for landfall for Michael were between 84 and 86. That was actually at or slightly above average. So that was the only hurricane that was above average on temperatures in the waters, but only by 2 degrees, not smashing records like it says here about Harvey. It said it was several degrees higher than normal. Normal is 85 to 87. Folks, it's right there in the middle of normal. Again, don't believe me? Google these facts. Google the dates. I'll give you the dates. Hurricane Ida, obviously, August 29th, 2021. Hurricane Laura, August 27th, 2020. Hurricane Harvey, August 25th, 2017. And Hurricane Michael, October 10th, 2018. What else do these storms have in common besides going over average temperatures in the Gulf? Again, not record-breaking heat, average temperatures or below, slightly below average temperatures in the Gulf. Well, it appears that our storms all have some kind of space weather coincidences that either led up to or on the day of landfall. So let's start with Hurricane Ida. Sunspot AR 2860, a large sunspot. We've had an M-class solar flare and multiple CMEs over the past several days leading up to the storm. And galactic cosmic rays right before the storm was averaging between 9 and 10% about 5 days before, and then slightly dropped to the mid-8s by the time it made landfall. But still, we had a buildup of galactic cosmic rays about a week prior to this storm. So again, our atmosphere was loading up with galactic cosmic rays. Hurricane Laura also averaged between 9.5 and 10% cosmic radiation in the atmosphere. Now, Hurricane Laura, we had a blank sun, but we had 5 days before the storm, we had a CME that affected our magnetosphere from AR 2772, sunspot number 13. So 5 days before the storm, there was a sunspot. Same thing with Ida. And then Harvey. Now here's where the connections really come together here. So Michael and Laura are more of the solar minimum connections. Blank suns, both of them had a blank sun to start. Solar wind speeds were 500 kilometers per second or higher for 4 days up to the storm. This is Michael. And then we had 2 minor G1 geomagnetic storms during a 5 to 6 day period leading up to the storm. Okay, I went back to spaceweather.com. You can do this. You go to spaceweather.com You go over here to the date, you put in the date you want, and I went back 5 to 6 days on each storm event and looked and seen what kind of space weather were we having for 6 days before up to the day of the storm. And this is what I found. So Harvey and Ida have a lot in common, okay? You've heard me say this on our program, that I feel like 2017 and 2021 have a lot of similarities. I heard from a meteorologist on Twitter talking about Harvey reminding them, or Ida reminding them, having traits of Harvey. Harvey and Ida have a lot in common, in my opinion. 2017 was the up-down tick from action to, some sunspots, but mostly spotless days, but still some CMEs and stuff like that. So 2017, fast forward to 2021, I believe are about the same as far as activity goes with the sun in the cycle, except this time we're upticking into the maximum. With that being said, Harvey had a giant sunspot, AR 2672. Harvey had a M-class solar flare that was hurled at Earth just a few days before the storm hit. Also, there were multiple minor storms, G1 and G2 storms. Just like this past week, we had, or over the weekend or beforehand, we've had G1 storms. Now we've had a G2 storm. We've had CMEs, multiple C-class CMEs. And also with Hurricane Ida, we had a large M-class 4.7 solar flare. So Harvey and Ida, in my opinion, are on the opposite sides of the cycle, but the same frequency of activity from the sun. And Ida and Harvey, not only are they similar in storm tracks or traits, I should say, but Harvey and Ida both had a lot of solar activity that was bombarding our atmosphere with highly charged particles. So the common denominator for all four of these storms are that solar forcing was not a part of the forecasting of these storms. And these things happen suddenly because of warming waters near the coast. All right, that's number one. Number two, though, is the part about the highly charged particles in the atmosphere that cause atmospheric compression, which is a sudden burst of energy from a cloud storm system and produces multiple inches of precipitation. And that's what we're seeing with these storms that the Weather Channel pointed out. Harvey, Laura, Michael, and Ida, all four were rapid intensification. Now, they're saying that all four of these are due to man-made climate change. But I'm telling you tonight that the temperatures in the Gulf were average for all three or lower, except for Michael was slightly above average. So 1 out of 4 was slightly above average. There was nothing record-breaking about the Gulf water temperatures. The common denominator in all of this, because the temperatures were average for all of these storms, the common denominator is that there were significant, or at least some impact from solar activity on our magnetosphere that helped develop these storms, also create the conditions that were just right for atmospheric compression, that were just right for cloud nucleation, that were just right. Solar forcing is not being used, folks. The reason for that is because you've been told that the sun does not drive the climate. You are causing climate change. You're killing the planet. Therefore, you have to take over and do these new Green Deal policies. Otherwise, you're killing the planet. So they feed you videos and articles like this one here from NPR saying that Hurricane Harvey, which devastated South Texas last August, was powered by the scientists say were the highest ocean temperatures they've ever seen in the Gulf of Mexico. Folks, the highest temperatures that have been recorded in the Gulf in this time of the year is 90 degrees. It was 86 degrees when Harvey made landfall. 86 degrees was the temperatures of the water. It's right here. It's right here. Let's get the handy dandy arrow out. It's right here. The implications that warmer oceans increase the risk of the hurricane intensity and duration. But the temperature says 86. 83 right there. 86 is right up here. Sorry, folks. Right there. 86. Temperatures range between 83 and 86. The average temperature in the Gulf of Mexico for August is 85 to 87 degrees. So here we have NPR and AGU lying to you and telling you that these storms were over record-breaking Gulf waters, when in fact these storms, the only thing they had in common was that we had space weather that was impacting our Earth's magnetosphere, okay, and our atmosphere. That's what was the common denominator. And again, you guys do the research yourself. You don't believe me? Google it all. That's all I did. I Googled it. I looked up, and then I went to spaceweather.com. I typed in all the dates for the storms. I went back 6 days before the storm made landfall on the coast of the United States, and I looked at the solar weather, and I found several correlations from cosmic radiation rates being the same, from two of the storms that are happening at the opposite ends of the cycle here, Harvey and Ida. Two of them, both of them had large sunspots. Both of them had M-class solar flares. Both of them had multiple minor geomagnetic storms. Okay? Coincidence? Yeah. They are happening in the solar minimum. All four of these are showing these intensity because of the amount of cosmic radiation that is saturated in this atmosphere right now, folks. That's it. The cosmic radiation, the highly charged particles in our atmosphere are so high. So high. The minimum before this, back in solar cycle 23, 24, it wasn't anywhere near this. Okay? Solar cycle 24 definitely has showed its rear end when it comes to cosmic ray dosage rates. We've seen the highest since 2009. So, folks, please share this video. We're trying to educate people on how climate science actually works. And in the video from the Weather Channel, the thing that's the most disturbing about the video is they don't cite their sources.
Claim your homeowner's stimulus today.
Hold
a
on.
home stimulus program is giving homeowners up to $3,000.
Hurricane Ida was undoubtedly fueled by climate change.
Says where? Show me the graph, the comparisons like I just told you about with space weather and these storms and the conditions that were created for these storms. Show me that data. Do they do that here?
Now, that's not to say that climate change caused the storm, but rather it is almost certain that a warming world made Hurricane Ida more powerful.
A warming world. By the way, folks, we are nowhere near that climate crisis temperature. Right now, the new update should be out tomorrow. We're somewhere around 0.2 above baseline. Even if we go up to 0.39 above baseline, we are still a lot cooler than that 1.5 degrees above baseline that scientists claim we are at now.
Here's what we know. The oceans are warming as a result of human-caused climate change. The Gulf of Mexico...
Human-caused climate change. Okay? She didn't show you temperatures. She didn't show you the proof that shows that humans' actions are causing climate change. This is all just statements. What I'm providing to you guys tonight is proof and facts that you can look and verify for yourself. So again, please share this video tonight. Share this with everyone who thinks that climate change is caused by man and thinks that, this Green New Deal policy stuff is great for the world, because it's not. It's going to be an economy changer, and really it's just a matter of wealth distribution. Okay? Some people got really greedy here with the money, and that is what is driving the lie right now, because they've invested way too much into this. They can't turn around now. So now we're trying to do the big cash grab before finally proof is made about a cooling Earth and not a warming Earth. And so far we've seen them hijack the grand solar minimum by using the effects and the extreme effects from our sun to our climate. And mainstream news is just hijacking what is causing this and saying it's man, when indeed I've brought you facts that it is the sun. All right, guys, have a great evening, and we will talk soon. Take care.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.